Hello, everybody. Chicago Bears football is back, and yes, so is the game recaps. Now, I typically do my game recaps pretty much the day after, or not the day, right after the game, just to let you guys know, next preseason game, it will be going out on the Friday. My game recap of the Friday, but my game recaps are not going to be like me being very critical of the game and stuff like that because this is the preseason. It's straight up analysis. Um and well, if you can't handle the analysis of just me analyzing players, then go find somebody else. But ultimately, I'm not going to be ranting or big D or if anything, not make a big deal out of anything. If you ask me, the only thing I can rant about is the Chicago Bears, the Soldier field on how terrible it looked. And that's going to be my rant of this video, I guess you can say. And I want to get this out the way before I talk about my thoughts on some mostly just player performances. I'm not ultimately going to talk about the team's performance altogether because it's just a preseason game. Just a preseason game. But Soldier Field's field. Not frickin'. It's effing terrible. And I'm just going to try to just keep that as PG as I can. The way Soldier Field looked, it should have no business looking like that. It looks like, my goodness, it's already in December. That's how bad the field looks like. And you wonder why the Bears want to move up out of there, why they want to go over to Arlington Heights. Because guess what? What's the number one thing, that obviously the Chicago Bears are being talked about in the wrong headlines of today? Oh, how shitty Soldier Field looks like. I could tell, man. You could look at the field. There's patches of dirt. Some of the grass is not there. What the hell's going on there? You would think they would take better care of the field. But no, we don't know if this is the freaking Chicago Park District, the freaking mayor's office, the McCaskey's not putting enough money into having a better field, better turf. We don't know who it is at this point. Maybe that's the next question whenever George McCaskey has another press conference. Somebody needs to ask them before you make the move to Arlington Heights eventually. Is somebody going to actually do something about how good the field looks? That's embarrassing. The fact that the number one thing for the Bears that's pointed out in a negative light is the fact that the field condition looks shitty. Not only the fans are mentioning it, the national media is starting to mention it and see. I think Colin Cowherd made a freaking tweet about it saying, like, good God, every time I watch the Chicago Bears in their afternoon, it looks like freaking somebody just played a game of golf on there and didn't clean up the field. He's not wrong. The fact that this field looks absolutely terrible in the shape it is, and I don't care who it is, whether it's the McCaskies, the Chicago Park District, the city of Chicago. I don't care. Do something about it and make it look nicer for one of the most famous NFL franchises in the freaking sport. I play in my high school stadium. I coach at my high school. My old high school. What I used to play on that field. And guess what? Even though it's fully turf, it looks 10 times better than what I freaking see over there in Soldier Field on a TV screen. That was the number one thing you have local media reporters talk about. And I guarantee you that's going to be the number one talking point on the Chicago radio, Chicago ESPN 1000, other Chicago sports radios and stuff like that, because they have nothing else to talk about. That's going to be the number one thing that they're going to talk about. Be like, ooh, this is how freaking lackadaisical the Bears are because they can't play on a legitimate field. Don't understand why they just can't upgrade the field, make it look better, get a new patch of grass down there, Make it just a full-out turf stadium. That would probably be better. But my goodness, you have freaking college campuses, high school campuses. My goodness. Canadian Football League stadiums, whatever, you name it. Any football stadium in existence, any soccer stadium in existence has better freaking grass than this crap. That is the freaking, or how I say, a better field than Soldier Field. Yet the freaking Mayor Lightfoot of Chicago, the mayor of Chicago, the city park district of Chicago, some dumbass fans who still think that the Bears won't be the Bears and it'll be a travesty if they move away from Soldier Field to go to Arlington Heights. You wonder why the Bears actually want to make their own stadium and actually go move there. Not only so they can make their own money and stuff like that and get all the access funds, and they actually can control who comes to their stadium and who doesn't. Because remember, they want to hold other events than just your typical concerts and your Chicago Bears games and stuff like that. They want to hold potential other events, Final Fours, freaking WrestleManias. If you're a WWE fan, AEW is a big thing in Chicago. Guess what? I wouldn't be shocked if AEW, if an Arlington Heights stadium gets built, which it will eventually get built. It's only a matter of time when we get the announcement. I want to be shocked if AEW, the new wrestling company, freaking has a show in the new Chicago Bears stadium. You can have a Super Bowl in Chicago in a dome stadium setting for once. See what I'm getting at? See what I'm getting at? But guess what? You would think, especially if the city of Chicago, the mayor, they really want the Bears to stay in Chicago so bad. So bad. You would think you would give them the best innovative, type of field. A new field. The way a field that looks 10 times better than it originally does. Instead of just coming up with a dome planned set and saying, we'll give you a dome. You want a dome so bad? Here's a dome. Well, you get that dome, and there's a Super Bowl being played in Chicago. And that field looks like that. You know what, people who watch the Super Bowl, if that were to happen in some alternate universe, people be ripping apart how bad the field at Soldier Field looks like. They'd be like, what the fuck did they do to here? So whoever the part of the grounds crew, whoever's part of this whole field decision type of thing in terms of taking care of the field here at Soldier Field, well, guess what? They all need their asses fired because they clearly don't do a good job. And whoever is the landscaping person needs to actually get fired himself. They need to hire somebody to actually instill a new landscaping, a new grass, a new setting. I just turn it into turf. Damn this whole ACL risks shit. Whatever. Or at least get a new set of grass. Embarrassing. Embarrassing that Soldier Field looks like a fucking trash dump. Good God, man. That's the number one thing I guarantee you most of the podcasters are going to be talking about other than individual player performances. Good God. Good. That's going to be a talking point for a whole lot of years. And like I said, you see why the Chicago Bears want to get up out of that stadium. Like I said, you're seeing players freaking make cuts and just pick up their feet running. You see the damn freaking grass being flung up into the air with just dirt. They're practically playing on a dirt field out there, if you ask me. Freaking terrible. Terrible how the field looks. Terrible. It's just so bad, man, that there's so many, different patches. The field already looks beat up as it's already in, January. Jesus. Chicago Bears, I can't wait till Chicago Bears move. And the mayor wants to be so mad and everything. And other fans want to be mad. Oh, they're moving to a different area. They're still going to be called the Chicago Bears. Jesus. If you're going to be so mad, guess what? You have the Chicago Fire, the soccer team playing there. And you can still have the concerts and everything there. Nobody said that they're going to tear it down. Good God. People are taking it like they're going to tear the damn building down. The Bears need to get out of there. I hear the parking, it's atrocious. I haven't been to Soldier Field since 2008. I was a wee little kid, so I never understood all this thing. If I ever get a ticket back to Chicago and in a season where the Bears are playing and I actually get a thing, maybe I'll experience and I'll be like, shit, this everybody. I now understand what people are talking about. Regardless, the Bears had their preseason game today against the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, you had your storylines. How would the offense look and stuff like that? First game of the Matt Eberflus era and things like that. Matt Nagy returning to Soldier Field. The only thing, if I was at the game, is I'd be chanting out Matt Nagy sucks chants and seeing if the crowd would get along with it. Didn't hear anything on the freaking TV, so whatever. I would have been freaking chanting Matt Nagy sucks purposely and see if I could have got the entire stadium to be saying the same exact thing. But I guarantee you, I highly doubt they wouldn't freaking buy into it. But whatever. Let's get into today's game. I thought ultimately fine game played by the Bears, fine game, things like that. But like I said, I'm only here to watch individual performances and stuff like that. So obviously, statistics wise, the thing is with the Bears, I thought the Bears on offense, they played fine. Obviously, when the Backups came in, that's when the Bears actually were scoring and stuff like that because it's the Backups. But like I said, it's preseason. You're playing a basic enough offense, trying to give away a lot of offensive plays that you would probably implement into the season. At the same time, you're also playing a fairly basic defense. Obviously, you people want to know how Justin Fields did. I thought Justin Fields was fine for the most part. There were some things he needs to work on. Some things, I thought, hey, was really freaking good from him. Justin Fields, he was 4-7 from today. Only 48 yards of passing. No TDs. I'm not really looking into the scoring thing. Justin Fields, I thought he played a fine game. He got the ball out a lot quicker. He was more willing to actually check it down to running backs when that was the case. And I definitely did like that. I thought he got the ball out faster. And some of those throws he made, the one throw to Darnell Mooney and the one to Tajay Sharp, some really good thrown balls right there. I did like the one to Mooney, put it in a place, pretty much back shoulder fade, only where Mooney could go up and go get it and stuff like that. Did like the Tajay Sharp. I don't know how the hell that ball was completed. But hey, he did it. He did scramble. And good thing on the Tajay Sharp thing, the one thing I did like on the offenses is, hey, they ran the hurry up offense off that Tajay Sharp catch. Guess what? They didn't give freaking Andy Reid any time to challenge it. Which last year, guess what? There would be a big play, and there was no urgency to get on the ball to snap it. So then, guess what? The opposing team couldn't challenge the next play or the last play. And I actually did enjoy that. And I was like, oh, thank God, some sense of urgency. When Justin Fields needed to get out of the pocket, I thought he got out of the pocket. And honestly, I thought he played a fine game. Yeah, maybe if the freaking critics are going to look hypercritical. And like I said, even some of the radio, they're going to be like, oh, the Bears starting offense didn't really do shit and stuff like that. Whatever. All I care about is the individual performances. I'm not looking into, certain phases of, oh, I would like them to score here. I'll say that, and when we get to the regular season, I'll definitely say that. And if it's a chance they don't score when it was a good opportunity to score, good. The one thing about the offense as a whole I did not like is the fact that when they did look like they were getting the drive started, they just not finish it through. And that's with the first team offense, pretty much. But there was, again, one other thing before I move on from Justin Fields. He did take 2 sacks, but those 2 sacks weren't really on him. One of them was both of them were kind of somewhat on the O-line and stuff like that because they got blown up. But anyways. Justin Fields on a run. He had 2 rushes. One run. He did slide down, and he slid down fairly early, and he got hit in the helmet. Even though it was the shoulder that hit the helmet, but even then, that's still should be a penalty. Don't know what the whole thing with the refs is against the Bears or Justin Fields, but my God, they do not blow the refs. They do not blow the whistle, or they do not throw a flag within the vicinity. And the bad part is Justin Fields got legitimately late hit right then and there in front of the official, and the official did nothing. So if it's an Aaron Rodgers, a Tom Brady, a Patrick Mahomes, oh, somebody does that. Oh, yeah, that's a 15-yard penalty, fucking flag, unnecessary roughness for hitting the quarterback. But Justin Fields, he does not get the benefit of this call because he's only a year 2 player. And what? I thought this was a thing for all quarterbacks that if they take a headshot as they're sliding, well, guess what? It should be a penalty. I don't know why they just don't. The refs are not doing that. Again, it seems like the NFL officiating is well, guess what? They still ain't learned their damn lesson, and they still are treating Justin Fields with some disrespect. Because if you remember last year, well, they never did that. They never blew any flags. It was damn near freaking, it was pretty much a damn near blessing if Justin Fields got that call. If he got late hit. Makes no damn sense. These NFL referees need to actually do a better job before, like I clamor in MLB, we need robot umpires. We're gonna need to start having robot referees that actually get all these damn freaking penalties right, because the modern day ref can't do his damn job. So yeah. Running back wise, Herbert, he had 7 carries for 20 yards. I thought it was fine. Justin Fields did check it down to him a few times, but he dropped him. There was one time, it was like in the middle of the field, he dropped it. And I'm like, dude, come on, you got to catch it. One of the standouts players that I want to actually talk about is Trestan Ebner, the running back out of Baylor. Now, in my draft video, I didn't scratch my head. I'm like, I don't know why we needed to draft running back, but now I see why we drafted a running back, why Poles drafted a running back. And if there was one thing about this game, and in terms of the preseason that I did enjoy, most of all of Poles' picks actually did really damn good. I'm not saying they did a good job. No, they actually did damn good. Braxton Jones was impressive. He held his own fairly well. Jaquan Brisker, we'll talk about in a second, was really good. Really freaking good. Jack Sanborn was freaking good. My gosh. Trestan Ebner was another one of these players that I was like, I like you. I think this dude has a chance to make the roster. He caught a touchdown. It was that little H-back angle route where, you're the H-backs in the shotgun with the quarterback. And he pretty much runs a little angle route up pretty much from where he goes up. And it's a simple, in a way, it's like a kind of a running back's version of a slant. And he scored a touchdown off it. He caught it and he did that. And I'm like, Trestan Ebner is freaking good. He had a good breakout run. I'm liking this guy. I think he should be he really earned a spot. If he keeps it up this preseason, he can earn himself a spot. And this means that's some dangerous zones for Herbert, Khalil Herbert, because I think Herbert, he was fine, but he didn't really impress me. Like, Trestan Ebner honestly impressed me a little bit more if I'm comparing the two. David Montgomery didn't play. I think it's because he's slightly hurt or something like that. He should play next week. But yes, I was actually very impressed with Trestan Ebner. Really damn good performance by him. I did like him. Braxton Jones, I thought he was another player that actually did a fairly solid job. He held his own, and he pretty much lived up to the hype, what people were pretty much saying about him in training camp, because I heard, good things about him in training camp and stuff like that, how he's actually shocking and he's a starter. And hey, if he goes through these, if he plays all the preseason games and he does a really good job, well, then he's earned himself a starting spot. And hey, guess what? Good for him. A freaking rookie brought it, earned it. That's what I care about. That's who I care about. Let's talk about the offensive line. I thought the offensive line was fine for the most part. Um, you know, fine for the most part. Schofield, he got blown up. I understand the player who blew him up, I forgot his name, is really damn good for the Chiefs, but you can't be getting blown up because that was one of the sack plays that happened with Justin Fields. Just off the bomb, just off the snap, got blown up, pushed into the backfield. Can't happen. Can't happen. That's on Schofield. So if he wants to win a right guard starting spot, he's going to have to be better than that. He didn't play a good game today. I think like he was pretty bad every series he was in. So that's not good. That's not good. So hopefully maybe that means they start to look more at Larry Borum at the right guard position. Tevin Jenkins did get some play time. I thought he looked fine for the most part. He's getting reps. That's good. So maybe one of these days, maybe he ends up taking that right tackle's position eventually. Hopefully he does. So that's kind of the thing there. Yeah, but I thought the offensive line played fine for the most part. It was more the right side that was the weaker side than the left side. So the right side needs to clean up their play. Now, Riley Reef didn't play. Don't know why, but hopefully he plays next game next week. In terms of the receivers, nothing else, excuse me, to say. What is it? Sharp. Tajay Sharp. He was really good. He had 2 good catches today. Very impressed me a lot. So I think he will definitely earn a roster spot. If you ask me, I think he's going to earn a roster spot. Darnell Mooney, he only had 1 reception, but he had a great catch. He went up, got a catch that was thrown by Fields, really freaking good. And things like that. Other than that, most of the receivers that got chances were fairly good. Equanimous St. Brown. He had a nice pickup of a few yards on this reverse play. Really freaking cool. Really freaking good. I did like some of the offense play calls. Some of the offense play calls were same old, but I did like some of the things that were freaking implemented by Luke Getsy and things like that. So yes, but that's kind of all I gotta say for the offensive side of the ball. Defensive side of the ball, let's get to it. Alku Hamid Muhammad, he was really good today. He got pressure, and he got into the backfield a lot. I definitely did like it. Now that first drive on defense, it's standard defense against Patrick Mahomes. Now I do think the defense could have did a little bit better, but it is what it is. So yeah. Again, mostly if you ask me, I know what was his face? I know a standout was Robinson. Again, he's one of the players that is very raw. But if he gets better, he could be something. Tashawn Gibson, he actually almost got a sack in this game. But he was getting pressure. But mostly, I think the 2 defensive standouts we can talk about that did a really good job in this game was Jaquan Brisker and Jack Sanborn. My goodness, he was good. He was really good. Let's talk about Jack Sanborn, who's an undrafted rookie out of Wisconsin. He was really good. He can definitely earn himself a backup linebacker position. And definitely he can earn himself a special teams position. I definitely did like how Jack Sanborn played today. I thought he played really good. He got an interception that put us in the red zone, which I did like how the offense got after getting an interception, which one of the things that Eberflus wanted to make a mantle is creating turnovers and everything. I think we also forced a fumble as well. And Jack Sanborn actually recovered that fumble. But the one thing Eberflus always mentioned, and the one thing we've been dying to see, is forcing turnovers and putting the offense on a short field. And I liked how the offense got the ball. They scored a touchdown. That was the Tristan Ebner touchdown. That's things that we have been missing for a long time. So hopefully more turnovers that happens, the more that we score touchdowns. especially if it's a short field for us. But Jack Sanborn, man, every time I turned around watching this preseason game, he was all over the place. He was making tackles, making hits, interception. He really stood out for me, and I really do think he can earn himself a special teams position. Hell, dare I say, he can earn himself a freaking linebacker position. Now, maybe a backup. No, more than likely a backup, but he definitely, in my eyes, he these next 3 preseason games, he definitely did a really good job. He's again going to prove himself. But if you ask me, he's already earned himself to be on the special teams. He worked his ass off on that field today, and I'm definitely liking this guy. Again, another common thing the Bears are good at. They can find good linebackers, especially with this Roquan Smith drama and shit like that. I'm not saying he's going to replace Roquan or anything if the Bears end up trading him, but hey, he was really good. He was really good. I honestly hope they keep him on the team because he actually stood out. And this was a guy that actually was a sleeper in terms of Chicago Bears players to watch and everything. Last player on defense I want to talk about, Jaquan Brisker. He was really freaking good. Again, just like Jack Sanborn. Jaquan Brisker was all over the field. So I know this guy is a dog. This guy is going to be a dog. He was all over the field, man. He almost got a pick himself. He almost got an interception himself. He was over here in the backfield making hits, stopping third downs, almost picking the ball off. He was everywhere. And I think this is the one safety that we're gonna really freaking like. And one game I'm already sold. I know at the time of the draft, I was fine with the pick, but I really wanted a receiver. But hey, he's shutting these people up who said the Bears should have drafted a receiver. But Ryan Poles made a really good pick. He was all over the place, and I really liked that. He really did. He really did bring it today. And props to Jaquan Brisker. I thought he did a really, really good freaking job. So that's kind of it. Another thing that kind of didn't happen, or other than like in terms of playing, things that I didn't like. Another thing I did like. There was a part in the game where Matt Eberflus actually challenged it. It was after a very controversial play, like, the Chiefs pick up a first down off this pass. And Eberflus, he saw it, and he's like, okay, I'm going to throw the challenge flag. I don't want to freaking see if that's an incomplete. And he threw it out, and he won the challenge. Matt Nagy would have not done that. He would have lived with the results because he would have been too busy trying to find out, when we get back on offense, what's the next play I got to run on my Denny's menu? So I really did appreciate that. Again, some things I didn't like. Again, I didn't like the right side of the O-line's play. I didn't really, to an extent, I didn't like how the offense, they didn't really get into a rhythm. When they would get into what it looked like to be a rhythm, they would just be stopped right then and there, and then they would have to punt. Which actually the punters, punting, Trenton Gill, he was really damn good today. I really did like Trenton Gill. Trenton Gill was really good. He freaking punted inside the 20 3 times. And almost in a few times he pinned a team deep back, which, my goodness, I've been waiting for this. That's why I wanted Pat O'Donnell gone, because he just kicked the ball just to kick the ball. He never actually put it in the corner. Trenton Gill looks like he can put it in the corner, and he can actually put a team, within the 10, 15 yard line boundaries, which, hey, I'll take that. I'll take that every day. So he was another good player. Yeah, but like I was saying, with things I didn't like how the offense would get started, but then they would go 3 and out eventually. I'm like, no, that's got to be better. So hopefully next week in the Seattle game, they pick that up. Another thing I didn't like, Daz Newsome, and again, another guy that's trying to earn a roster spot, especially the fact that, he was on the practice squad last year. Hey, he's got to step his game up. He can't be muffing punts, especially if he wants to be a punt returner for this team, or just a returner in general. If he's going to be muffing punts, well, then guess what? He not only muffed a punt, he went backwards. Like, not good enough. I didn't like the defense in that 2-minute drill the Chiefs did to end the half. I thought even though you're playing a basic defense, give a little bit of resistance right then and there. The touchdown pass on that slant, pretty much on that deep slant of that post or whatever route that was, um, it could have been covered a lot better. You have two safeties high. One of the safeties should have been there to break that up. I didn't like that. But other than that, the defense I thought played very solid. Again, it's basic enough offense, and you're playing against backups and everything. And Patrick Mahomes was playing the entire game. Yeah, the Chiefs score would have been high powered, and then it would really show like, oh yeah, the Bears are out of the league of the Chiefs, but still. And I think we already knew that because the Chiefs in one drive, Patrick Mahomes went right down the field. Albeit not all the starters were in the game, but still, it, regardless, going to that defensive series, I kind of wish like, okay, I would have liked, with some sense of urgency in a 2-minute drill, to try to stop a team from scoring. But ultimately, I thought the Bears, some of the Bears standout players and some of the shocking standout players, that you didn't expect, like a Jack Sanborn and a Tristan Ebner. I thought overall was a nice build. Again, it's just a building block process because this is a rebuild year, and everything. And that's all I really ultimately care about. The building blocks to be put in place, players developing, getting better, Justin Fields getting better, going into year 3. So then guess what? We can try to go out there and actually compete for reals. But yes, if you're wondering my thoughts on the Roquan Smith situation, dude needs to get an agent because it's just insane what's going on. Uh hopefully a deal gets done. He was apparently at the game. We'll see. But other than that, I thought it was a solid start for the Bears' first preseason game. Again, I want to be as optimistic as I can, especially in a rebuild year. But we'll see. But that's just my thoughts on the Bears' first preseason game. Put in the comment section if you thought there's anything that I missed that I should have talked about a little bit more. And what are your thoughts on the Bears' first preseason game? Your thoughts on players liking some players, and their performances they did, and things like that. But hit that subscribe button, Camping 15 Talk Sports. You want to get more Chicago Bears content. As like I said, I'll give you every Chicago Bears news this upcoming season, for the team, as well as game recaps every single day, or not every single day, every Sunday, or whatever day they play on after a game. But other than that, that's just my 2 cents. Stay safe out there. Till then, guys. See you guys for next week's on Friday for the Bears versus Seattle Seahawks preseason week 2 game recap. Till then, guys, peace.